Hello, and welcome to the new podcast solo series that is listener-supported content or listener-provided content ideas. For the next 30 days, listeners will be providing me with one content idea that I can use each week. I do a new solo podcast episode in between when I do my podcast guest interviews. So to help keep the podcast content fresh and so you guys are listening to content that is valuable to you and that you want to listen to. So I appreciate your support. Thank you for joining me on this podcast, solo podcast hearing experiment, utilizing listener-provided content ideas. And without further ado, let's get going on the podcast. Disclaimer. The information I provide to the podcast listeners of MindCep is based on my own research and personal experience. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Not all information is factual or has scientific evidence to support it. I am simply sharing the best information I can find and finding valuable content to help you improve your mental health and well-being. Please consult your doctor or therapist before trying any of the modalities I discuss on this podcast. And this episode is brought to you by RadioGuestList.com, the #1 free radio guest, podcast, and talk show guest expert interview booking service on the internet. This episode is brought to you by PodcastGuest.com, connecting podcasters with great guests. Podcasters. Find relevant experts and other podcasters to be guests on your podcast. Experts, guests, and more. Get booked on great podcasts to expand your reach and audience. PodcastGuest.com connects podcasters with experts, authors, and other podcasters to be guests on their podcasts. And welcome to the MindCep Podcast. This is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. In today's episode 84, we're going to be talking about how to turn back the clock on your body and your mind naturally. And I want to do a quick disclaimer before we start this episode. The information I provide to the podcast listeners of MindCep is based on my own research and personal experience. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Not all information is factual or has scientific evidence to support it. I'm simply sharing the best information I can find and finding valuable content to help you improve your mental health and well-being. Please consult your doctor or therapist before trying any of the modalities I discuss on this podcast. And without further ado, let us get into the episode. So, how to turn back the clock on your body and mind naturally. Welcome to MindCep, the podcast where we explore the latest scientific discoveries and breakthroughs on how to reverse aging or age slower. I'm your host, and today I'm going to share with you some natural ways to turn back the clock on your biological age based on factual sources of information. One of the most exciting findings in recent years is that aging is not just a result of DNA damage, but also of epigenetic changes. Epigenetics is the study of how our genes are switched on or off by environmental factors, such as diet, stress, exercise, and so on. Epigenetic changes can affect how our cells function and differentiate, and over time, they can lead to aging and disease. But the good news is that epigenetic changes are reversible. Scientists have been able to manipulate the epigenetic clock in mice, making them age faster or slower, and even restoring some of their youthful features. This suggests that we have a backup copy of our original epigenetic instructions, and that we can reboot them with the right interventions. So what are some of these interventions? Well, there are some simple lifestyle changes that can have a positive impact on your epigenetic age. For example, taking key supplements such as vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, curcumin, resveratrol, and NAD+ boosters. These supplements can modulate inflammation, oxidate stress, DNA repair, and cellular energy production, which are all important for epigenetic health. Eating a plant-based diet rich in antioxidants, phytochemicals, fiber, and polyphenols. These nutrients can protect your DNA from damage regulate gene expression, and modulate the gut microbiome, which is also involved in epigenetic regulation. Practicing intermittent fasting or calorie restriction. These dietary strategies can activate a cellular stress response called hormesis, which can enhance autophagy, mitochondrial function, stem cell renewal, and DNA repair. These processes can slow down or reverse epigenetic aging. Getting enough sleep. Sleep is essential for brain health, hormone balance, immune function, and memory consolidation. It is also a time when your body repairs and rejuvenates itself at the molecular level. Poor sleep quality or quantity can disrupt your circadian rhythm, which is a key regulator of epigenetic activity. Exercising regularly. Exercise can improve your cardiovascular health, muscle mass, bone density, and cognitive function. It can also stimulate the production of growth factors such as BDNF and IGF-1, which can promote neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. Exercise can also influence epigenetic modifications in various tissues and organs. Managing stress. Stress can have a negative impact on your mental and physical health. It can also trigger epigenetic changes that can impair your immune system, increase inflammation, and accelerate aging. Therefore, it is important to find healthy ways to cope with stress, such as meditation, yoga, breathing exercises, or hobbies. Another thing is having a good or strong social network. Social isolation and loneliness can increase your risk of depression, anxiety, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. They can also affect your epigenome by altering gene expression in immune cells and brain regions involved in social behavior. On the other hand, having meaningful social connections can boost your mood, resilience, and longevity. These are some of the natural ways to reverse aging or age slower using scientific evidence-based factual sources of information. I hope you found this episode informative and helpful. If you want to learn more about these topics, you can check out the list of cited sources with the links to cited sources below in the show description. And again, although it says most of these are factual sources of information, some of them may not be factual sources of information. So again, like I said in the beginning of the disclaimer, the information I provided to the podcast listeners of MindCep is based on my own research and personal experience. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Not all information is factual or has scientific evidence to support it. I'm simply sharing the best information I can and finding valuable content to help you improve your mental health and well-being. Please consult your doctor or therapist before trying any of the modalities I discussed on this podcast. Thank you for listening to the MindCep Podcast, episode 84. Please subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and also Spotify Podcasts has a comment section so you can provide feedback and potential future content ideas for myself in future episodes. If you'd also like to reach out to me on social media, you could reach me at my Instagram page at mind.cep at mind.cep for further correspondence. I hope you all enjoyed this solo podcast series episode. And again, this is a listener. We're doing a listener provided content series for the next 30 days. My listeners will be providing content, and I wanted to mention this solo episode content idea was provided to by my colleague and friend Sam, and his Instagram is at Nanu, Nanu .diei. Nanu.du or DA. So this was Sam's content idea for the MindCep solo podcast episode, how to turn back the clock on your body and mind naturally. Thank you all for listening and stay tuned for next week's episode. Are you ready to take your mind and body to the next level? Look no further than MindCep, the podcast that's all about unlocking your true potential. And now we've teamed up with a brand that's as dedicated to recovery as we are. Introducing New Recover Ice Bath. Hey there, podcast listeners. It's your host Alex here, and I've got some exciting news for you. If you're looking to supercharge your recovery after those intense workouts, or just want to experience the incredible benefits of cold therapy, New Recover is your ultimate solution. Picture this. You've pushed your limits, and now it's time to treat your body to the rejuvenating power of an ice bath. New Recover Ice Bath offers a range of top quality products designed to help you bounce back faster and stronger. From their innovative ice bathtubs to their specially formulated recovery accessories, New Recover has it all. But wait, there's more. As a valued listener of MindCep, you're in for a treat. When you use my exclusive discount code ALEX36631 at checkout, you'll get a fantastic 15% off on any New Recover product purchased through my affiliate link. That's right, a 15% discount to elevate your recovery game. So whether you're an athlete aiming for peak performance or someone who simply wants to feel invigorated every day, New Recover Ice Bath is your ticket to unparalleled recovery. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to invest in your well-being. Remember, it's not just an ice bath, it's a lifestyle upgrade. Head over to our affiliate link to explore the New Recover range and embrace the power of recovery like never before. Don't forget to use code ALEX36631 for that exclusive 15% discount. Thank you for supporting MindCep and taking this exciting journey with us. Here's to unlocking your potential and recovering the New Recover way. MindCep and New Recover, because your mind and body deserve the best. Start your journey today. I hope you all enjoyed that listener provided content idea episode for this podcast solo series, 30 days worth of content ideas experiment, where my listeners provide content ideas for the next 30 days for my future solo podcast episodes. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to provide feedback, please do so. Comment, rate, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please leave a short review on Apple Podcast. And if you enjoy the content and you have any feedback, you want to give some more content ideas, please reach out to me at my Instagram at mind.cep. That's at M as a Mike, IND.CEP at mind.cep. If you want to DM me about additional content ideas you'd like to see for future solo podcast episodes. Thank you all for listening, and see you guys for next week's episode.